Welcome back to Mass Appeal. It's a sobering statistic. On average, 7 people die in the United States from home fires every single day.
Tina Gorman is from the Council on Aging in Westfield, and she's here to tell us how we can retire the fire. Tina, welcome to Mass Appeal.
Thank you.
So Retire the Fire is based on a program that you're doing with the Westfield Council on Aging.
Correct. And that program was started because we had, in a 2-year period, we had 4 major fires involving older adults, resulting in 4 fatalities. 2 of those fires were in senior housing apartment complexes, requiring the entire complex to be evacuated. People were displaced for months, so it's a serious issue.
And a lot of homes they haven't been checked for smoke detectors and haven't been checked for those regulations that are now in place. So they may not necessarily know if their home is safe and up to
Correct.
code.
That's exactly correct. A lot of our older adults are actually living in homes that are older, and they've been in there for many, many years prior to the guidelines, the state guidelines on requiring smoke alarms. So a lot of those homes do not have any detectors at all. So we have one problem with trying to identify those older adults living in our communities throughout Western Mass who don't have any smoke detectors in their home. The other problem that we run into is people who have smoke detectors, they haven't changed the batteries in 5, 6, 7, 10 years. So they have smoke detectors, but they're not working. And in fact, 2 of the fatalities, it was a husband and wife combination, and they died in that fire. There was a smoke detector. It was not working. The batteries had not been updated.
So a great thing to remember when it comes to the batteries is when you're turning your clocks back, change your batteries.
Correct. Change your clocks, change your batteries. So the fire marshal's office recommends twice a year to change your batteries.
But if it's something that is difficult for you to do, maybe you don't want to climb up on a ladder and do it,
Correct.
You can call a community member or the local council on aging to help you.
Correct. What we're really doing is we're appealing to the community. We're appealing to families and neighbors to go and check on these things. But some people don't have any family in the area. They don't have close friends or neighbors. And in that case, we suggest either calling your local council on aging or your local fire department to say the batteries need to be changed. I don't have anyone to do that, and we will find a reliable volunteer.
Let's talk about cooking safety when it comes to fires. What should people know out there?
We have 2 sayings that we want to drill into people's heads. One is stand by your pan, meaning if you put something on the stove and you're cooking on the stove, stand by your pan. Stay with that thing on the stove. If you get a phone call or if someone knocks on the door, we recommend take a spoon or a wooden spoon or something with you when you go answer the door. That's your reminder. I have something that I left on the stove. I've got to go back there and check.
That's a good
okay?
idea.
So
Really
stand
good
by
idea.
your pan.
I'm going to do that.
Our other one is put a lid on it, and that means that if you have a cooktop, a stove fire, what you want to do is smother the fire. A lot of people think, I'll put water on it, I'll go grab a fire extinguisher. That's only going to make it worse. It's going to cause the fire to spread, and that's where we see a lot of fire injury. Cooking fires are the leading cause of injury in Massachusetts for older adults. So you want to smother it. You just want to put a lid on it. If you get a hot pad, put the lid on it, or if you have another pot or pan next to it, put something that's going to smother the fire. If it's in the oven, just keep the oven door closed, turn off the oven, get out, and call the fire department.
What about electrical issues and space heaters? I know hopefully everybody's put away their space heater, but sometimes people have that cold room in their house that still has the space heater.
Right. Well, one thing that you want to know about space heaters is that you really need a 3-foot radius so nothing should be within 3 feet of the space heater, which is actually a 6-foot diameter if you think about it. That's a lot of space. So I know you're trying to keep your feet warm, you put that space heater right there, but that's really dangerous. Also, you should never go to sleep with your space heater on. You should never leave your space heater on when you leave the home. So you have to be very careful with space heaters. And we find at this time of the year, a lot of the seniors are using them because they've shut off their heat. They're trying to save some money, which is okay, and just heat the one room, but you have to be very careful with that. So you want to remember that 3-foot radius, nothing within 3 feet. In terms of electric, you want to be very careful about overloading outlets. Again, we have a lot of older adults living in older homes. They don't have a lot of electrical outlets, so they're overloading those. So we want to be very careful about that as well.
And Tina, we are out of time, but carbon monoxide and oxygen, home oxygen, those are 2 very important things that you want to make sure people are aware of as well.
Yes, home oxygen, smoking and oxygen do not mix. Oxygen is an accelerant. It will cause a fire to burn hotter and faster. It won't cause a fire, but it'll cause it to spread and burn hotter. So cigarette smoking and oxygen is a recipe for disaster.
And make sure that you have carbon monoxide detectors in your
carbon monoxide detectors on every level of the home.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tina. Retire the fire. I think it's a wonderful campaign. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up on the show.